So, what policies are you looking forward to implementing, and could you be specific?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot right now at the City Hall. One of the most exciting things that I've been advocating for is to improve our broadband network. And throughout the city of Flagstaff, our great IT department has set up a full master plan for our broadband throughout the city. Been working with the state, the county, the federal government to really improve all of our broadband throughout the city and interconnect it with our surrounding communities. Um, and through that, it's going to create a lot of really so much. I mean, jobs. It's going to be helping to create, well, obviously, with our new Zoom economy, a lot more access to education, access to just the new world that we live in. And right now, we're seeing rapid growth in that area, and Flagstaff is getting on that wave to be able to really get us into the 21st century, which is a big reason I ran, and I'm here as mayor to really get that different way of thinking and approach. So,
Can you be specific on how you've expanded the broadband network already?
well, it's in the works right now, but the Governor Ducey, for example, has set up a fiber optic cable all the way up I-17 and then headed west on I-40. We are looking to try to get that also east to I-40 to the mall, and then help our county board of supervisors get that cable all the way up to Page and up to Tuba City potentially, and we're hoping to help with that. And it's been a big intergovernmental well, a negotiation, just general everybody getting on board and really seeing the same type of vision. So I'm real excited about that, and that's just on our highways. So part of our master plans are to also get it from McMillan Mesa at the NASET all the way and connect all of our government facilities all the way down to the airport. So connect the City Hall to NAU to CCC, and we have implemented a policy, since you're asking policies, that we of dig once. So it's a dig once policy. Anytime we have to dig up our water lines, our gas lines throughout the city, well, we're putting conduit down there, our tubes on our main thoroughfares, and then in hopes that the private sector internet service providers will come here. They can rent out that conduit, lease it from the city. We can actually create a revenue stream from that. At the same time, as it sets up the basic infrastructure to entice more internet service providers to come to Flagstaff, to create competition, to improve their own network, and we're laying the foundation right now to make that happen.
Amazing. That
Yeah.
sounds great, and it'll help the economy and education, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually helps with income inequality. It helps with a lot of the other issues to provide access to low-income neighborhoods. So one of the other things that we did on actually my first day on council, December 15th, I pressed and council agreed to prioritize our community development block grants. We get money from the federal government to help some of our low-income neighborhoods. We set it up to prioritize broadband access to our low-income neighborhoods as a priority with how we are going to distribute those grant funds. So there's a lot of pots of money and a lot of things we're working on to make that really universal for the city of Flagstaff.
Absolutely. That sounds great. I know you've talked about a couple issues during your campaign, like affordable housing, policing, minimum wage. Could you expand on how you've met some of those campaign promises?
Yeah, well, we're making, I think, a lot of progress and things in the work with, well, we'll talk policing. We're wanting to do a real alternate response for issues that really shouldn't be criminal issues. I mean, public intoxication, people who are unsheltered, for example. We need to be treating these situations differently. These are social issues. These are not criminal issues, and people need to be treated with dignity and approached. And so there's a lot going on in that realm. What has happened right now is that we do have dispatch. If you call 911 and it is a mental health crisis, it can get forwarded to our what's called Teros Mental Health, where crisis responders can now respond to issues where somebody may be having suicide ideation, these other issues that really, again, aren't police issues. So we've set up those lines for the dispatch, and now we're working towards funding, obviously, which is the big part. And we are in discussions with a lot of our governmental partners to see how we can mutually fund these operations and to create a robust system where a large proportion of the calls that are coming in are actually responded to by a truck with a van with a social worker and a medic. I mean, that's how we need to be addressing this issue. And on top of that, working to see about funding for a detox center, a way to a group living home thereafter, and really bring the transition from people who are struggling to have a wholesome life rather than putting them in the revolving door of the criminal justice system. Yeah, we have this alternate response request for proposals already out that is due March 26th, so that nonprofits or private entities can apply to be a part of this type of solution. And we are actively making things happen, and honestly in a pretty short amount of time, which is really exciting. I only took office December 15th. We have a lot of these things, great projects working out, and a lot of visions that are working its way to fruition.
So in terms of all the policing and detox centers and things like that, what's the timeline for that? Is that possible within your term?
I'm hoping that is absolutely the case. We have budget sessions coming up in April. And like with most things, it does take a majority vote from council, but I have a lot of faith in this council to really be not just pursuing, but real wholeheartedly invested into these types of programs. So I'm optimistic on making these happen in a real regard with real funding to make it happen. And that's what it comes down to, is the dollars and cents. So we'll make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know affordable housing has been kind of a contentious issue, especially within the last year. Could you expand on your plans for that?
Absolutely. So we already have some things that we have done to change the affordable housing incentives. For example, if you're building a lot that is close to a bus stop, that the parking is, there's a lower requirement for parking. So this helps to incentivize individuals to use our bus system. It's only for if you're close to the bus that you can do this for a development. We've also changed some of the incentives recently for projects that are 100% affordable housing. That will allow for anyone with 80% or below the median income for the household to access. Well, now they don't have to go through what we call conditional use permits. And just basically, we've cut out a lot of the red tape and bureaucratic norms that were in the past to developing these affordable housing units, which will allow a faster pace in which it can be developed. And that's one big thing for developers is, hey, if you can cut it down by 6 months, a year to actually build this, then you get a quicker return on investment, and is a way that we can cut the red tape and get this housing out quicker by taking out the bureaucratic bloat that is getting put in the way.
So is it fair to say that you're working on a lot of different projects within a lot of different organizations in Flagstaff?
Yes, yes. These are only a few of the issues, but these are big ones for myself. These are big ones for, so many in our community. Housing, broadband, alternate response, and the other big thing that we are working on is our climate. Right? We have a very aggressive approach to dealing with climate change, and we are seeing that to fruition, as well as doing it in a manner that actually creates business development. And that's the key with this, is we have this perception that it's, government funding. No, our nonprofits, our co-ops are reacting to it. The private market's reacting to this new industry that's been growing. And I'll give you one example. We have now the Solar United Neighbors. It's a co-op that you get 100, 200 people to sign up saying, hey, we want solar panels. And then they're able to buy wholesale for large swaths of the community at a reduced cost to the point where, you can pay it off and actually get a return in 5 years rather than on 7 because of the discounted prices for solar. So this is just one example of a lot of the progress we've made in the last few months on this realm as well. So it's a lot of exciting things in development.
That's great. Since you've taken office, have your priorities shifted a little bit? Have you been made aware of certain issues that were bigger than you originally thought?
Well, every issue is bigger than you thought, at least in terms of the solutions. I mean, I recognize so many of the problems, but a lot of this takes so much cooperative effort to make happen, not just with dollars, but with jurisdictions, with state laws, with a lot of things that are hard to unbind our hands from our backs sometimes to get done. So, yeah, I mean, the problems are there. My values have not shifted. It's just a matter of navigating these waters as a new mayor to really, really see things done. And with, I think, the fresh perspectives and approaches from having, honestly, a younger mayor who's energetic, who understands what the 2021 looks like now than it was 40 years ago. A lot of ideas, not just for myself, but channeled through myself to actually find these solutions. So we're cutting that red tape and getting things done.
That's great. Do you find that the issues you're focusing on, such as climate, housing, things like that you've talked about, do you find that those are the issues that the people of Flagstaff want fixed as well?
Yes, and we had just last year the climate emergency declaration was made, and that was at the behest of the people. They're the ones who brought this to our attention. They sent us a petition to make happen, and the council reacted in accordance in line with the people to what they wanted. We also had the housing emergency that occurred last year as well, and we listened to the people. We are reacting to what is needed, and that is why that has been among the top priorities for myself, is because the people are saying it loud and clear. These are problems we want solutions from. We need the mayor and council to solve them for us, or not solve them for us, but be good partners to seeing it to fruition, and not just state the problems, but create the solutions that we need.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, as you probably realize, these are really big issues. So can you be specific on how you're meeting those issues every day?
Well, I am constantly meeting with different government organizations. It was really great just 2 days ago. I was able to meet with President Nez of the Navajo Nation. And Flagstaff isn't an island. We are not. We are so interconnected on all levels. Climate for one, broadband, as I already explained, it's all an interconnected network. And that's how we make things happen, is really building the relationships, seeing what others can help contribute, and finding our common goals with a large amount of people to create the teamwork needed to see it to fruition. And that's what I do every day, is try to build that team, try to build up that network of support to seeing it through. So it's the mayor's job and the rest of council to set policies, and it's the job of city staff to see it through. We have a council manager form of government, which means that I don't do the paperwork, I don't do the administrative work. What we do is set certain directions for the city, check in with our city staff to ensuring that's working, and if it's not, then we address those policies and see what other directions we can go to fulfill our goals. So we're the policy holders, and yeah.
Is there anything that you didn't expect to be in your jurisdiction or out of your jurisdiction? Like, what are some surprises that you've seen since you've taken office?
Well, professionally I'm a policy analyst, so I was pretty aware of, a lot of our jurisdictions are what we actually do at City Hall. I mean, I ran for council a couple of years ago. I've been involved in local politics for a long time. And Yeah, it hasn't been that much of a surprise on what, I can and cannot do. Though I really wish I could do more. Yeah, so that everyone knows, we are about to hit our budget retreat next month. We're going to be making decisions on these dollars and cents, and we want to hear from the public and what you care about. This is how we make our decisions. We want to listen to the people, get those projects done, and I urge you, April 22nd and 23rd is when we have our budget retreat, where we both explain, learn, and set policies moving forward on what we're going to spend those dollars and cents on. So please tune in and send your commentary to City Council and to myself, so that way we're making those decisions in light of what the people we are in charge of serving really want from the city.